Imagine receiving the wonderful news that you have inherited a piece of real estate. Perhaps it is a family home or maybe an investment property. While this can be an incredible gift, a question often comes to mind almost immediately. What about any existing debt, like a mortgage, attached to it? Well, for real estate beneficiaries, the property often comes with the existing debt. This means the mortgage or other secured loans typically stays with the property itself, rather than becoming the personal responsibility of the beneficiary, unless you explicitly assume the loan or were a co-borrower from the start. Understanding why this happens is crucial for effective planning. When you inherit real estate, it usually transfers in one of two ways, either through probate, if there is a will or no estate plan, or outside of probate, often via a living trust or joint tenancy with rights of survivorship. In most cases, federal law, specifically the Garn-St. Germain Depository Institutions Act of 1982, offers significant protection. This act generally prevents lenders from immediately enforcing a due on sale clause when property is transferred to a relative, such as a spouse or child, upon the death of the original borrower. So, the lender cannot simply demand full payment of the loan just because ownership changed due to inheritance. However, the mortgage obligation itself does not simply vanish. The beneficiary inherits the property subject to the existing mortgage. This means that while you typically are not personally liable for the debt, the lien remains on the property. If the mortgage payments are not made, the lender can still foreclose on the property to satisfy the debt. You essentially step into the shoes of the previous owner regarding the property's financial obligations, but without necessarily taking on personal liability for the full amount. This scenario differs significantly from assuming a loan. If you assume the loan, you formally agree with the lender to take on personal responsibility for the debt, and your credit and assets could be at risk if payments are missed. Without a formal assumption, your liability is limited to the value of the property itself. For example, if the property is worth $300,000 and the remaining mortgage is $250,000, your potential loss if you walk away is just the $50,000 in equity, not the entire loan amount. So, what should you do if you find yourself in this situation? First, thoroughly review all estate planning documents, such as the will or trust, to understand the deceased intentions and how the property is designated. Next, it is vital to contact a qualified estate planning attorney or a real estate attorney to understand your specific rights and obligations based on local laws and the terms of the mortgage. You will also need to promptly notify the mortgage lender about the owner's passing and your status as a beneficiary. Be prepared to provide a death certificate and relevant estate documents. Finally, assess the financial viability of keeping the property. Can you afford the mortgage payments, taxes, and maintenance, or would selling or refinancing be a better option for your financial goals? One significant benefit for beneficiaries to be aware of is the stepped-up basis rule for capital gains tax purposes. This means that if you choose to sell the inherited property, its cost basis for tax calculations is generally reset to its market value on the date of the original owner's death, not their original purchase price. This can potentially save you a substantial amount in capital gains taxes if the property has appreciated significantly over time. Understanding this tax advantage is a key piece of insider knowledge that can significantly impact your financial outcome. Navigating inherited property debt requires a proactive approach and a clear understanding of your legal and financial position. By carefully reviewing estate documents, consulting legal and financial professionals, and engaging with the mortgage lender, you can confidently evaluate your options. This empowers you to make informed decisions that either preserve the property as a valuable asset for your future or help you liquidate it strategically, ensuring that this inheritance serves your long-term financial well-being.